Swaddy Cab, Jed here from Thailand, Myland. I was almost not here to do another video about an hour ago. I was nearly involved in an accident. Would have been quite a bad one if it hadn't been for my quick thinking, I suppose. I was driving from here to Khao Tao. I was going to go there for lunch, and I was in the motorbike lane as usual, and a big truck come up by the side of me. I thought he was going to go past, but no, he was turning left and he didn't see me in his mirror, so he just pulled straight across me. He clipped my wing mirror, and I wobbled around a bit and had to put my brakes on very, very quickly, because otherwise I would have gone underneath the truck. Luckily, nothing happened really in the end. I wobbled around a little bit from him hitting my mirror. I managed to right myself. He actually then saw me in his mirror, I think, because he stopped going to the left and he sped away straight up the highway. So I'm going to go back to the hotel, and I'm going to put together a little video about the dangers of driving here in Thailand. Now, Thailand can be a very dangerous place to drive. I've been driving here for 5.5 years and I've had a couple of accidents, I must admit. So it's not for the faint-hearted. You do take a lot of risks driving here, but for me it's worth the risks, because I love to travel around and I love driving around Thailand and Southeast Asia. So it's just the risks you have to take if you really want to live your life to the full here. Today's video is going to be about driving in Thailand and some of the risks that go with driving here. In Thailand, they drive on the left-hand side of the road, the same as they do in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and many other ex-British colonies. Not that Thailand's an ex-British colony. I don't think Thailand's ever been colonized by any country. So if you come in here on a holiday or to live, and you're going to be driving around, be on the lookout for tourists from the USA or Europe who may have rented a car or motorbike, and next morning they get up in their car and they just drive on the right hand side of the road like they have been doing all their lives in the USA or Europe. It's an easy mistake to make. I did it myself when I drove in Europe for the first time. I'd get up and drive on the left, and all the horns would beep at me to get back on the right side of the road, or the wrong side, that I was on the wrong side of the road. So yeah, so you need to be a little bit careful of that if you're coming here. There could be people driving on the wrong side of the road, and a lot of Thai people do as well, but I'll get into that a little bit later. The speed limit here is generally 80 kilometers an hour or less in the town areas, whereas on the highways it's generally 90 kilometers to 120 kilometers an hour. The carnage on the roads in Thailand is well known around the world. It's got a very bad reputation for road accidents. Thailand has a population of around 70 million people, which is very similar to the UK. But in Thailand, they have over 20,000 road-related deaths a year on average, or about 60 people a day on average, where in the UK it's about 1,500 people a year die on the roads, or 4 people a day on average. Motorbikes are the most common form of transport in Thailand, and drivers interpret any traffic rules quite loosely, and traffic is always chaotic, especially in the larger towns and cities, and in all the tourist areas. It's always chaos, and you do have to have your wits about you if you're planning on driving here. If you haven't already done so, please push the subscribe button and the like button, and if you could watch the video right till the end, it will help me a lot to get recognized here on YouTube. The two most dangerous times of the year to drive in Thailand are Songkran Festival, which is in April, and the Christmas New Year period in December and January, when most Thais like to go home and celebrate with their friends and families. So the roads are always busy, and that's the time when there's more accidents. People are rushing to get home, excited, and unfortunately some of them don't arrive home. So what are the do's and don'ts about driving here in Thailand. What should you do or what shouldn't you do? Most people, when they come here, they rent a motorbike, not cars. And I see a lot of them, the Farang, they don't wear crash helmets. They come here, they see that Thai people aren't wearing them because the majority of Thai drivers don't wear crash helmets either. So the Farang see it and they think, oh, well, I won't wear one either. And the amount of time I see it, I see Farang driving around sometimes with 2 or 3 kids on a motorbike doing 80 kilometers an hour and none of them wearing a crash helmet. All of them thinking, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm on holidays. And unfortunately, sometimes it does happen. And I see all the time in the newspapers where some Farang has lost his life or has been badly injured coming off a motorbike. And I also see on things like Facebook and the newspapers where people have had an accident and then now go on GoFundMe to get some money to pay for their hospital treatment and maybe repatriation home, but maybe medevac home. They haven't done the right thing. They haven't wore a helmet. And I'll go into that a little bit further as well. Other things they might not have done right, where their insurance has been turned down because they didn't do the right thing. That's the same if you're driving a car here. If you're renting a car or you're going to buy a car, wear a seatbelt. You do it in your own countries. Why not do it here? But I see it all the time. Most people don't put the seatbelts on because it's not really police. Police don't really pull you up and hit like they do in Australia or the UK and fine you for not wearing a seatbelt. I've never seen it done. Same as they very rarely stop anyone who's not wearing a crash helmet, unless you're Farang and they're trying to get some money out of you. What Thai people do, they buy flowers and amulets and they put them around their rear vision mirrors in their cars, or they drape them over their necks and if they're driving a motorbike, and then they go and break all the road rules, speeding and not giving way to traffic, and expect that Buddha will protect them. So yeah, it is a little bit crazy where you don't put a seatbelt on, but you go and buy an amulet to make sure you're going to get from A to B without an accident. Make sure that you have the right driving license for the right vehicle, meaning a car license to drive a car and a motorbike license to drive a motorbike. Many motorbike rental companies will rent you a motorbike on your car driving license, but if you have an accident and need medical treatment, then your travel insurance will probably refuse your claim because you're not licensed to drive the motorbike with a car license. The license should also be an international driving permit. So many rental companies will rent you a vehicle with a license from your own country without it having to be an international driving permit. But be careful doing this because if you're involved in an accident, then the insurance company may not cover you, or if the police pull you up, they may fine you because you don't have an international driving license and you're driving under license from your own country. If you're renting a motorbike, check everything for safety. Tyres, brakes, everything. Have a good look around the motorbike before you take it away from the shop. If you're renting a car from a smaller rental agency, do the same. Not so bad if you're renting from Budget or Avis, then you're going to be pretty right. But if you're going to rent from a small company, then you do need to check around the car, make sure that it's in good condition. The tyres are good, the brakes are good, everything looks good. If it looks a bit tatty, then it probably hasn't been serviced very well or looked after. So you might want to think, oh, I won't rent from that guy. And also make sure that you have the right insurance documents, both for the vehicle and your health insurance or accident insurance for yourself, just in case something does happen. So what else do you do? U-turns on main roads here. There's lots of U-turns and lots of big trucks doing U-turns to go to find another route. And you need to be very aware of those. You've got to, when you see cars going for a U-turn, be very aware, be very alert that they don't just pull around in front of you. I've had it done to me many a times because cars, especially when I'm on a motorbike, not so much when I'm in a car, But when I'm on a motorbike, they think, oh, I can go around them. So they just pull around and do their U-turn, and I'm sort of having to get out of their way rather than them doing the right thing and getting out of my way. So yes, be very careful. U-turns can be very dangerous here. So what else can you do to make sure that you get home safely from your trip to Thailand when driving? Roundabouts are a serious problem here. No one gives way to you. You really have to push your way through, and it's very very hard. It's very difficult because if you make the wrong decision, you can end up paying the price. Um, what I always do if there's a car going the same direction as me when I get to a roundabout, I use him as a buffer. So when he pulls out, I go by the side of him or her, whoever's driving, because if someone hits the car, then he's going to get hit, not me. I'm protected by being on the left-hand side of him. So that's a good way. If you're a roundabout, try and shield yourself from the traffic by going at the same speed as the car that's going around the roundabout. Same with traffic lights. Traffic lights are very dangerous. Most people do obey them, but with some people, I'll show you now a very disturbing video about someone who did the right thing at the traffic lights, but still paid the price. And that's quite common here. People tend to think they can just go through on a red quickly and nothing's going to happen, but unfortunately, quite often bad things do happen. So you've got to be very careful. I don't speed away straight away. I sort of go slowly and I look left and right just in case some car's coming through. Even if it's 5 seconds after the light's gone green, I'll still check it because some people are just in a hurry and they just think, oh, I'm going to go, and they come through on a red. So yes, be very, very careful at roundabouts and be very, very careful at traffic lights. So next on my do list, if you're coming here to drive, watch out for drivers driving down the wrong side of the road. It's quite common here. Drivers tend to pull out from an intersection and then go the wrong way down the road into incoming traffic. If they're only going a few hundred meters and going to a shop or something, they don't go across the road and then drive up and then go back across. They just turn into incoming traffic and head that way. So you've got to be aware of that. And it's not just motorbikes. I've had it with a bus, where a bus is coming in the bike lane towards me, going the wrong way into incoming traffic, and I've had to go around the bus into the road and to get around them. So it does happen all the time. So be aware of that. That quite often cars and motorbikes just pull out from a side road and then start going the wrong way down the road. Check your mirrors all the time and look out for vehicles coming from side roads. As many drivers just pull out in front of you without looking. They come out from a side road and they'll just come out. They don't stop and give way. They just expect you to give way, even though you've got the right of way and you're on the main road and they're coming from the side road. You have to be aware of everyone around you here when you're driving. Driving back in Australia and the UK, there's a few bad drivers, but here, there's a lot of underage drivers, 12-year-olds on motorbikes who have no experience. There's a lot of people who don't have a driving license and have just taught themselves, and they're not good drivers. They don't know the rules. They didn't pass a driving test to find out about the rules. So you have to watch for everyone all around you. You've got to watch what's coming up from behind you. You've got to watch what's coming from the side of you. And you've got to watch what's in front of you. It can be very frustrating and hard work to drive here. You have to make allowances for the other driver, which you wouldn't normally do in your own country. Next on my things to make sure you do is keep to the speed limit. It is tempting to speed because everyone else is doing it. They're flashing past you left, right and centre, and you're sticking to the speed limit. But it's the right thing to do and it's the safe thing to do. Accidents do happen here where people just pull up very quickly. So if you're going too fast, you're going to hit them. And there's a lot of motorbikes. So they're zooming in and out of you. And if you're going too fast, you could clip one if you sort of do the wrong thing and maybe cause a bad accident. So keep to the speed limit, keep to the rules as best as you can. You do have to bend the rules here. If you drive within the same rules that you drive back in your own country, you're not going to get very far. As I said about roundabouts, you can give way to the right like you're supposed to do here, but no one's going to give way to you when you want to pull out. So you have to push yourself in. There's the way that the rules are here, you have to adapt to driving in Thailand. Try not to break many rules, but sometimes it can't be helped because you've got to drive sometimes as they do just to get where you're going. If you're involved in an accident, the police will nearly always take the Thai person's account rather than yours of what happened. So if you are involved in an accident, try and get witnesses. If there's people that have watched it, ask them to wait until the police get there so they can tell your side of the story of what happened. Also, it's a good idea if you are driving here in a car or on a motorbike is to use a camera. I do that all the time. I use my camera in the car or on the motorbike. You can buy attachments in places like Tesco, Lotus, shopping centres to put you on your motorbike and attach your camera to that or attach your phone to that. That way, if there is an accident, you can then show the policeman, look, this is what's happened. I've got it on camera. But if you expect him to just take your word for it, he probably won't. He'll probably take the Thai person's word for it. Zebra crossings. Now then, zebra crossings are they're here everywhere in Thailand, but no one takes the slightest bit of notice of them. People do use them to cross, but they wait till there's no traffic. They don't sort of stand there waiting for the traffic to stop for them because the traffic doesn't. The traffic just ignores it. The problem you get is when there's a tourist. A tourist might not realise, and there was someone died only about 2 weeks ago here who walked across a zebra crossing and the cars didn't give way to him and someone hit him. When you're driving, I'm not telling you to break the law, don't get me wrong, but there's probably more a chance that you're going to cause an accident if you stop at a zebra crossing. I look in my mirror, and if there's nothing at all behind me, then I might stop at a zebra crossing if someone's waiting. But if there's a lot of traffic behind me, I won't, because if I stop, there's a good chance that the cars behind me won't, and they're going to come and hit me. Also, I could stop and let that person get across. If it's two or three lane traffic, they might get past my car crossing, and then another car will come flying past my car that's stopped and maybe take that person out. So when in Rome, sometimes you have to do as the Romans do. I'm not telling you to break the rules. I'm just saying, you do have to drive differently here, and sort of accept that sometimes you can't drive like you do in your own country. The same goes for railway crossings as well. There's many of them all throughout Thailand, wherever you go, whether you're in Bangkok City or Hua Hin, all the way from the Malaysian border right the way up to Chiang Rai, you'll find many, many railway crossings. And most Thais obey them. They stop when they hear the alarm going and the barrier comes down, but some think, no, it doesn't count for me, I'm going to go around. So they go around the barrier, and because they can't afford to wait 1 minute, waste 1 minute of their lives. So they go around the barrier. Most times you get away with it, sometimes you don't. But if you're a driver here, don't think it's the done thing and follow a Thai because he's done it and think, oh, I'll do the same like you do with helmets. Oh, you don't wear a helmet, so I won't wear one. Oh, he doesn't wait at the barrier, so I won't. Because it can end up in a fatality. It happens all the time. The Thai person in front of you looks left, looks right, can't see a train, so he goes around, and then somebody else follows him through, and the train's on top of them. Also, if you're driving a car, make sure that the railway line is clear. There's no traffic on the other side of it, so you can drive straight across the railway line and into safety, because otherwise, if there's a car sort of close to the railway line, you might get stuck on the railway line because he doesn't move, and a train comes, you're going to be in the path of the train. So make sure that the way is clear before you even decide to drive across the railway line. So next, make sure you do deliberate changes, well indicated changes. If you're going to change lanes or you're going to turn, if you miss a turn off, or you're getting close to a turn off and you don't think you can quite make it, you've got to get into another lane, don't worry about it. Don't try and squeeze in, because traffic can be coming up very fast on you from either side. So be very careful when you're turning into an intersection. If there's not enough time to get into that lane, go further up, do a U-turn and then come back down. It's a lot safer. Also, when you're driving, keep at least the car doors width away from the left-hand side where cars are parked, because here it's happened to me a few times where I've just avoided an accident, and I've seen a few accidents where someone's parked, haven't looked in their mirror, and then just opened the car door wide to get out, and a motorbike's hit it, and the motorbike come flying off a motorbike. Not so bad if it's a car. You're going to do some damage, and you're going to knock his door off, but probably there's a good chance no one's going to get injured. But on a motorbike, it's different. So yes, if you're on a motorbike especially, make sure you're at least a car door width away from the left-hand side of the road in case the door comes flying open. One of the big things you shouldn't do when you're coming here is drink and drive, the same as you wouldn't do it in your own country. Now, the police are a lot more lax here. Yes, you don't see them out and about. You don't see breathalyzer units. I've never seen one in the 5.5 years I've been here. I'm sure they've got them. I'm sure that some people have been breathalyzed, but I've never seen one. Thailand does have a drink driving law. Thailand's legal blood alcohol limit per litre of blood is 0.5 grams. A lot of tourists do come here, and they know that the laws are quite lax here. They know that it's not going to be policed very well, and there's a good chance they won't get caught. But it's still not worth the risk. When you drive here in Thailand, you need your wits about you. You don't want your brain to be addled with alcohol. You have to have all your brain cells working. So it's just not worth the risk. But I'm sure lots of people will still come here and do it. But it really isn't worth it. Don't forget, if you do have an accident and you've been drinking and you're injured, your insurance won't cover you because you were driving under the influence of alcohol. So there's many reasons not to drive with drink in your system here in Thailand. So it's just not worth doing. One other thing I'll point out as well, unlike in some Western countries, when someone flashes their headlights at you, they're telling you to come ahead. Here, if someone flashes their headlights at you, it generally means, get out the way, I'm bigger than you, and I'm coming through. Remember, might is right in Thailand, so the bigger the vehicle, the more you should get out of its way. Because motorbike riders really are second-class citizens here when it comes to driving. Might is right. That about rounds it up. I hope that this video is helpful to you and that it may make your trip to Thailand more safer and enjoyable. If you aren't confident driving here, then don't. There's no shortage of great affordable transport. You don't have to rent a car or a motorbike if you don't feel as if driving here is right for you. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now. If you haven't already done so, please push the subscribe button. If you're thinking of retiring or living in Thailand, please take a look at my book, The Retiring Thailand Handbook, the first 6 months. You'll find it on Amazon. It's crammed full of information to help you tiptoe the logistics of making Thailand your home in retirement. Thanks a lot for watching my channel. So until next time, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.